What's up, guys? This is the Gospel According to Mark with a C. He is I, and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you exactly what's on my mind. Thank you for joining me once again, my friends. And as always, I invite you guys to like, to share, and to subscribe. Of course, hit the notification bell. And I always remind you guys, I have a super thanks feature on all of my videos. If you want to contribute to the channel, that would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Listen, guys, I wish that I was presenting to you a Black Panther Wakanda Forever review. That was my intention to do this weekend. I actually went to the movies. I sat down to watch this thing, and probably about 40 minutes into it, I got called away. All right, there was something going on I had to take care of. I got a call. I had to leave. And as unfortunate as it is, I will say this. I was not enjoying that film up until that point. As a matter of fact, I felt the temperature rising. I felt like I was getting offended, upset. So in a way, it was a good thing because, guys, these days I am so hyper aware of time. The time that we have in this life is really, really brief. It's really, really short, and it's too short to be spending on mediocrity, a mediocre movie, which is what this was to me at best. There was no way that this movie was dope. There was no way that this movie was a classic. It didn't measure up to the first one. Everything that I saw, there was nothing that I could have possibly seen in the rest of that movie that would have saved it for me. I already saw enough. You guys know how I feel about it anyway, so it's easy to dismiss my views on this because you know I didn't go into it objective. I just didn't, all right? I felt like it was a major, major mistake to kill T'Challa, and within the first 5 minutes, I had that solidified. I knew that that was the case, all right? So, being that this is not a review of Wakanda Forever, I do have an observation that I want to make, guys, because far be it from me to let certain things go and not speak on it, all right? Because honestly, you're only going to get this type of observation here, right? So it occurred to me, right, in the run-up to this opening weekend. You guys know we've heard a lot of chit-chatter online about how white people should stay away from this on opening weekend. It was all over TikTok, and, you know, a lot of people discussed this. And it occurred to me, guys, like, you remember not too long ago when, let's say, Rings of Power dropped, right? And a lot of people were critical of the race swapping that went on there and a deviation from the source material. And you actually had cast members come out to condemn the fans for having an opinion about that. You even had the cast of the original Lord of the Rings movies, Elijah Wood and them. They came out to talk about how it was inappropriate and you're all welcome. Remember, they used that hashtag, you're all welcome. They had to stop the show, whatever they were doing. They were in the middle of driving somewhere and they had to stop and make this statement, if you're to believe what it looked like, right? They even did that with Kenobi, remember? With Reba! And they actually had Ewan McGregor stop what he was doing in the middle of the street. And he made this video talking about how it's not good to be racist and how we stand by the fans of diversity of color. You're all welcome here. Disney joined that hashtag as well. Hashtag you're all welcome. You're all welcome. I can't help but wonder, where was this hashtag you're all welcome for these last few weeks when people were telling white people to stay away from this movie? Some people were being threatened, but nobody? It never occurred to anybody to say something to condemn this behavior? We're not all welcome under these circumstances? Like, what happened? What happened? Why don't we get, who's in this movie? Why don't we get Angela Bassett or somebody in their car talking about, it's occurred to me recently that our wonderful fan base, some of them have been threatened to stay away from this movie. This is inappropriate. You know, what happened to that? Where's Letitia Wright? Where's Ryan Coogler? What's going on? Why can't people do this? Now, I know some people might be saying, oh, well, that was just an online thing. Most people never even heard of that. Most people never heard of it because the media didn't blow it up. And that was the point that we were all making. That's the point that I was certainly making about what was going on with Rings of Power and Kenobi. I was saying, why are the studios blowing this up? It's just online, right? Most people never would have heard of it. But that gave strength to the argument that I was putting forth that the only reason why they blow these things up is to distract from their mediocre, crappy material, their content that they're putting out there, to distract from criticism, to shield themselves, if you will. That's the only reason why they blow these stories up, because if they were genuine, you would have seen it happen this weekend. They would have done that. So I'm talking about just logically speaking. You might think, oh, why is he taking up for white people? Kiss my black ass. We're just talking about something here. We're talking about an issue here. We're talking about something that proves that they're disingenuous, their hypocrisy. This is what I'm talking about. Now, how does this hurt black people? Since you think I'm just taking up for white people, because clearly, if you go by their logic, they're putting the demand of righteous conduct onto white people. Don't be racist. Don't be cruel. You know, all of this stuff. Don't be mean. But when it comes to black people, we can get on social media and act a fucking fool. We can threaten people. We can make these bold declarations. You know, we can lay claim to something, Black Panther, that we did not create, thus making us look like clowns to the entire world. You know, so they let that happen. They let us run free, not unlike how they let us run through the neighborhoods rioting when something happens. You know, oh, just back up. They're animals. You can't tell them anything. Leave them alone. You know, that's the implication. That's what's going on. That's the reason why black people should care about this type of hypocrisy. All right, because they appeal to the righteous conduct, to the consciousness, the morality of white people, the guilt, the shame. But we have none of that to appeal to. We're just allowed to do whatever we want. And the only people who check us are people like me. And I get called a problem. I get called a coon. Look, one day, guys, you're going to catch up to this. And you're going to realize these people are not your friends. Okay? So, obviously, telling people to stay away from a movie based upon their race is something that's wrong, okay? Take a deep breath, roll it around in your mind for a little bit, and understand that, guys, all right? When you're a productive, positive force in society, you want to share that. Is that not what Black Panther, the first one at least, was about? Do we share our gifts? Do we share our resources with the world? Or do we just keep it to ourselves? In the end, it was decided that it's better to become part of a world community. You know what I'm saying? To make good alliances. But I guess that message was lost on a lot of us because we can't get past just seeing us up on the screen. And that's what these people, that's what they trade on. You know, that's what they exploit. So I just wanted to point this particular thing out, guys. Why is it? Can anyone tell me why we didn't see a media push to silence all of those voices telling white people to stay away from the theater in the same way that the media highlighted all of those voices who were objecting to the plot issues in shows like Rings of Power, Kenobi, things like that, and they spun it to mean that those people were racist. You know, those people were terrible people. It's really something to think about, guys. You know, there's a whole lot of hypocrisy going on here, and I just wanted to point that out because that's my job. As for Wakanda Forever, I have no idea when I'm going to see this film. I've been hearing terrible things about it anyway. Some people, of course, love it, and I would expect that, guys. I would expect that. But I have my own reasons for not liking this film. All right. And when I do finally get a chance to see this at some point, I will talk about that. You probably hear me talk about it on streams, you know, that are upcoming that I'm on the panel of. But until then, thank you guys for listening. I will catch you on the next one. This is The Gospel According to Mark with a C. Rock on.